It's one thing to know what life is all about. It's another thing to be living it out. It's one thing to know what life is all about. It's another thing to be living it out. In this world there's God, there's me and there's you. And all I want is to be living out the truth. In this world there's God, there's me and there's you. And all I want is to be living out the truth. Living out the truth. Oh, yeah. Living out the truth. Teen Straight Talk.
Be honest with him. Be brutally honest with him. And just throw it all on the table with God. So, but if you feel like you are so angry that you're going to do something, then to ask God to help you. Lord, help me not to kill this person. Help me not to get suspended. Help me not to get into this fight. So you can take everything to God in prayer.
He says so many times we say, God, take care of this. God, take care of this. And God says, well, if you just move out of the way, I'll take care of it. But when I'm ready to throw the blow, you're in the way. I'm going to hit you instead. So we offer it to God and we say, God, I can't handle this. And I don't want this to be who I am. I don't want this to mess up my joy, to rob me of my peace. So I give it to you, Lord. I give that person to you. And Lord, I don't want to hate that person. So help me to see that person the way that you see that person. Because understand, God has had to forgive you far more than you will ever have to forgive another person. Amen. There is nobody that is perfect in this world. You've offended people, people have offended you. And when you offend people, I know you want people to forgive you. Let's forgive, even if they don't ask for forgiveness, for our benefit. And you do that in that prayer. Say, Lord, I need help forgiving that person. Once again, don't give them power over your heart and your feelings. Deal with things back, return things with anger and hatred. We don't give God a chance to work in it. When we deal with things in love, in God's love, with forgiveness, then we open the doors for God to come in and do his part. And I promise you, God can deal with somebody a whole lot better than you can. Amen. And I have seen this time and time again, that when we pray for somebody, and you don't treat them bad back, you just keep praying for them, and you pray for God to continue to give you strength so that you don't return evil for evil.
Strike the Lord. What did the Lord teach us to do when someone strikes? Listen to this. If I have spoken wrongly, bear witness to the wrong. But if I have spoken rightly, why do you strike me? In that context, in that particular situation that Jesus permitted, called him on it. Called him on it. We're talking about degrees. There's a line that nobody crosses with. Ever, Amen. Under any circumstance, for any reason. If that line is crossed, you get the help you need quickly. Okay? And understand that. There are times when I turn the cheek. And there are times I say, no. Why did you do that?
That sin be dealt with and punished, I think it's God-given. But the key is, as you've been hearing today, is God says, let me be the one to do that. It's okay to desire that wrong be righted. I think that's God-given. So you don't just put up with it and say it's okay. It's wrong. Call it, like we heard tonight, call it what it is.
People who do awful things deserve to be hurt.
Good question. The answer is yes. The next comment is, it does not have to come from you.
When you don't have the love of a parent, it's never your fault. It's their fault.
sometimes, even though adults are parents and in adult situations, because of their scars, their issues that never got handled in their life, you don't know all they've been through, and what comes out is because of their hurt, you become a recipient of their pain and their lack of dealing with their past. And so they don't know how to be the parent that they should be. They don't know how to be the father or the mother they should be. And so many of parents have failed, not because you're not lovable, because you are so lovable. Yeah. Not because you're not valuable, because you're so valuable, but because of their issue, they're not adequately able to love you the way that they want to love you and the way that you deserve to be loved. Amen.
Forgiveness can bring healing, but sometimes there's damage. Even there's a book everyone tells called Total Forgiveness. We can forgive that person, but sometimes we have trouble forgiving God and forgiving ourselves. Forgiveness isn't just saying, okay, I forgive you for what you did. It's forgiving everybody involved, forgiving the whole situation. And that's the hard part there. We don't just say, okay, I give this up to you, God. Woo, I feel good. It doesn't happen overnight. It's the beginning.
Right.
It's the beginning. There are times you have to do that over and over again. Way overnight. But you keep giving up to the Lord every single day. You keep fighting. You don't stop fighting until you experience what the Bible calls that peace that transcends all understanding, that will guard your hearts and minds in Christ. It'll guard you from any more pain, from any more negative feelings about yourself, about any more negative feelings about anybody else. That peace will help you overcome everything else, and you'll be able to move on in life in victory. So the challenge is, are you going to do that, or are you going to be a victim? A victim or a victor? You give it up to God, you keep fighting until you get the help, you'll be a victor every single time, I guarantee it.
And my soul and spirit was elevated by your response. All you said is true. Follow that. I just have a quick story to share with you that proves what you just said. But the interview said, those who were persecuting you, he said, do you forgive them? He goes, oh, God, yes, I forgive them. And the guy who was interviewing him got a little perturbed, as if to say, that's a bunch of pious nonsense. And then his response, and this, for me at least, crystallized the understanding of forgiveness. Because remember again, it's not just a feeling, right? He said everybody suffers. And when you suffer a little bit, you struggle, you're hurt, you have to deal with your feelings, you take time, you forgive. He goes, but there's a line that if you suffer and that suffering takes you beyond, and if you can hang with the pain and never fall into despair, regardless of what you're feeling, he says you enter into this place where everything becomes absolutely clear to you. He said, in my moment of the most severe abuse, I looked at them, and he said this. He said, they weren't human anymore. They were demons. And he says, and when I saw that, my heart filled with compassion. And I said, Father, they don't know what they're doing. Forgiveness from the cross. Amen. You would never know this man had endured what he endured. And it's because, it's what Pastor Cruz said. He followed that.
But it is not I, but Christ who liveth in me. And the life that I now live, I live by faith of the Son of God who loved me and gave his life for me. Can the Christian say amen? Amen. Would you say this with me? Love is stronger than hate. Say it one more time. Love is stronger than hate. Just one more time, real loud. Love is stronger than hate. That's right. There you go.
It's one thing to know what life is all about. It's another thing